In a cozy valley nestled between soft purple mountains, there was a little town made entirely of candy colors. The houses were painted in shades of strawberry pink, lemon yellow, and mint green. The cobblestone streets sparkled like sugar crystals, and the air always smelled faintly of warm vanilla. In the prettiest cottage on Honeycomb Lane, there lived a kind 6-year-old girl named Rosie. She had rosy cheeks, curly auburn hair, and the warmest smile in all the land. Every evening, just as the sun began to set, Rosie would sit on her front porch and watch the mountains turn from purple to deep blue, then finally to the soft silver of nighttime. One special evening, Rosie noticed something unusual. A gentle golden glow was coming from behind the raspberry bushes at the edge of her garden. She tiptoed closer, her bare feet cool against the sugary grass, and discovered the most wonderful sight. There, nestled among the berries, was an old lantern, unlike any she had ever seen. It was made of swirling copper and glass that seemed to shimmer with its own inner light. When Rosie picked it up, the lantern felt warm in her hands, like holding a cup of cocoa on a winter's night. And inside the glass, she could see the most amazing thing: tiny pictures floating like soap bubbles, each one showing a happy dream. Rosie gasped with delight as she watched a little dream bubble show a puppy playing in a field of daisies. Another showed a child flying through cotton candy clouds. "The lantern that shows happy dreams," she whispered to herself, feeling like the luckiest girl in all the candy-colored mountains. She hugged it close to her chest, already imagining all the wonderful dreams she would have that night. But as she turned to go back inside, she heard a soft, worried chittering sound coming from the moonlit stream that ran behind her house. Someone needed help. Rosie followed the silvery stream, her bare feet making soft splashing sounds in the shallow water. The lantern lit her way with its gentle golden glow, casting dancing shadows on the peppermint-striped rocks. Soon, she came upon a small, furry creature sitting on a smooth stone in the middle of the stream. It was an otter, but not like any otter Rosie had ever seen in her picture books. This otter had fur the color of warm caramel, with a white patch on its chest shaped like a crescent moon. Around its neck hung a tiny velvet pouch, and its whiskers drooped with sadness. "Hello, little otter," Rosie said softly, kneeling by the water's edge. "Why do you look so sad?" The otter looked up at her with big, shimmering eyes. "My name is Pebble," the otter said in a voice like tinkling bells. "I collect moon pearls, you see. They fall from the sky on special nights and land in the streams of this magical valley. But tonight, the biggest, most beautiful moon pearl I've ever found rolled away into a deep crack in the rocks. Without my moon pearls, I cannot make my moon milk porridge, and I haven't eaten anything warm in 3 whole days." Rosie's heart squeezed with sympathy. "Don't worry, Pebble," Rosie said, reaching out her hand to the little otter. "I'll help you find your moon pearl." She held up the magical lantern, and its warm glow seemed to grow even brighter, as if it understood their mission. Together, Rosie and Pebble followed the stream deeper into the valley, where the mountains rose tall and the candy-colored houses gave way to forests of peppermint trees and caramel bark oaks. The lantern showed them the way, and inside its glass, Rosie could see dream bubbles of Pebble happily eating warm porridge by moonlight. It made her even more determined to help her new friend. They came to a place where the stream tumbled over smooth rocks into a tiny waterfall. There, wedged deep in a crack between 2 large stones, was the most beautiful pearl Rosie had ever seen. It was perfectly round and glowed with the soft silver light of the moon itself. But the crack was too narrow for Pebble's paws and too deep for Rosie's fingers. Rosie looked at her magical lantern and had an idea. She held the lantern close to the crack, and the warm, golden light seemed to seep into the darkness. The happy dream bubbles floated down into the crevice, and slowly, gently, they lifted the moon pearl up and out, as if the dreams themselves were helping. Pebble caught the moon pearl in his tiny paws and squeaked with joy, spinning around in happy circles on his rock. "Oh, thank you, dear Rosie." He tucked the precious pearl into his velvet pouch, where it clinked softly against many other smaller pearls. Rosie clapped her hands and laughed, feeling so happy she thought her heart might float right out of her chest. But then she noticed something. Pebble was staring at her magical lantern with the same look of wonder she had felt when she first discovered it. The happy dreams inside were swirling especially brightly now, casting rainbow reflections in Pebble's big eyes. Rosie looked at the lantern, then at Pebble, and she understood something important. "This lantern is very special," she said softly. "But special things are even more special when they're shared." She held out the lantern toward Pebble. "Would you like to look at the happy dreams with me?" Pebble's whiskers trembled with gratitude. He nodded eagerly, and they sat together on the soft, mossy bank of the stream, the lantern glowing between them. They watched dream bubble after dream bubble, a family of rabbits having a picnic, a little boat sailing on a peaceful ocean, two friends sharing an ice cream cone. Each dream seemed sweeter because they were seeing it together. After a while, Pebble reached into his velvet pouch and pulled out a handful of moon pearls. They glowed like tiny stars in his paw. "You shared your lantern with me," he said. "Now I want to share something with you. These moon pearls make the most delicious moon milk porridge you've ever tasted." He sprinkled the pearls into the stream, and the water began to shimmer and sparkle. When he scooped some up in a smooth shell bowl, it had transformed into the creamiest, most heavenly porridge Rosie had ever seen. Steam rose from it in gentle swirls, smelling of honey and moonbeams and everything cozy. Rosie and Pebble shared the moon milk porridge, taking turns with the little shell spoon. Each bite was warm and sweet, and somehow tasted like happiness itself. Rosie realized that the porridge tasted even better because she was sharing it with a friend. "Sharing makes everything taste sweeter," she said, and Pebble nodded, his whiskers covered in creamy porridge. They both giggled. The lantern between them glowed even more warmly now, as if it was pleased. The dream bubbles inside showed new pictures of Rosie and Pebble, friends forever, having many wonderful adventures together. The moon rose high over the candy-colored mountains, casting everything in soft silver light. Rosie yawned, her eyes growing heavy. Pebble gently took her hand with his soft paw and led her back along the stream, back through the peppermint forest, back to her little cottage on Honeycomb Lane. The magical lantern swayed gently in Rosie's other hand, its light growing softer and dreamier with each step. "I'll come visit you tomorrow."